There we go.
I think I see it. Now recording live on YouTube, I think.
Yes.
All right.
Now we're live.
Awesome. And we'll go ahead then and start recording here also. And welcome folks over to our reading of Spaceballs. Record.
There
Perfect.
we are.
All right. So welcome to our reading of Spaceballs, at least the second half of it, or roughly the second half of it. We did it partly last week, but it was too long to fit into one. So we'll have a slightly different cast of characters. We had to do a little bit of last minute rearranging. We may have another reader join in, hopefully later this evening. But we're starting off with 5, despite the blinking red screen there. We do have 5 of us here. And we're going to go ahead and start with introductions. So if you could tell us your name, your pronouns, and where you live, and then also what characters you are playing this evening, and where people can find you on social media. I'll just go ahead and start with Vicky.
Hello, I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm she, her. I'm in Penhold, Alberta, Canada. And tonight I am the princess. Oh, I'm not Dot anymore, am I? I didn't scratch that out. I am King Roland. I am doing actions and descriptions, and the guard, barf, bartender, and bearded lady.
Awesome. And where can folks find you on social media?
Oh, I'm on YouTube. I'm Yoga Grandma, not YouTube. Sorry, Instagram, Yoga Grandma 10, and on Facebook under the name Vicky Dykes.
Awesome.
Woo.
We'll go on to Aubrey next.
Hi, all. My name is Aubrey McCoy. I am in Northern California in the Bay Area, just above the Bay Area. My pronouns are fabulous. And yeah, I am. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify or any streaming music platforms that there are. You can go onto my Instagram, which is at Luthien the Fair, and I have a link to the Spotify, but you can find me pretty much anywhere, Apple Music, whatever. I have an album on there. I'm a singer and actress. There we go. That's me.
Cool. All right, Tori.
Hello, my name is Tori Estes. I'm in Rock Hill, South Carolina. My pronouns are she, her. And social media wise, you can find me on TikTok at Lori Pastes, LoriPaystes. And I will be reading for Dark Helmet and a large smattering of others, including like Prince Valium, Pizza the Hut, Waitress, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. And Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle. And tonight I'll be playing the part of the Dinks, the radar technician, Vinny, waitress number 3, Rodney Strangerfield, President Scroob, the best character, and the minister.
Awesome.
My pronouns are that bitch, and you can find me on Instagram.
Sorry. Over there.
I'm just done right now.
My name is Kat Wilson. Pardon the glasses look here. My pronouns are she, her. I am in Gig Harbor, Washington, and your host for this evening. And I'm not actually sure what parts I'm playing because we just recast, but let me take a quick little look here. I am filling in for Scar, who will hopefully join us later. So Sanders, a yogurt, loudspeaker, the maitre d', MC, the ominous voice of the captain, voiceover, and a variety of actions and descriptions, as well as waitress number 1 and Dot. Speaking of which, Tori or Vicky, would either one of you want to do actions and descriptions at the start?
I can take it. I don't mind.
You take it? Okay. All right. Oh, and on social media, you can find me, Catherine Devaney to Foxfire Wilson. And when I'm not reading here with Table Read Tuesdays, and you can find me with Two Households in Fair Corona, Shakespeare reading group. So on Saturdays, certain Saturdays. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and start share our screen, and we're going to start on page 64-ish. So let me see if I might have it up on the right page. Yep, 64, and we're going to start down here where it says cut to exterior sky Spaceball 1. So we've left off with our heroes on a desert planet, having been stranded after trying to escape from Dark Helmet and his cronies. So, Tori, go ahead and take it away. Is that a large enough screen? I'm sorry. Didn't you make it larger?
I'm good. Does anybody else need it larger? Are we good?
Vicky, you want it slightly larger? Is that okay? I can do one more up if you like. Maybe?
I forgot to write down all my characters.
I
You forget
can
to write
see
down
it.
your characters? Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to say them too. It's okay. I'm only playing the one that is important. Really, is just Lone Star. So, no, I'm kidding.
Well, if no one else is speaking, it's probably your line, Aubrey. We've got the beetle-like man, the pumpkin-headed wife.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. I'm looking at all the just real quick.
Yep.
So don't mind me.
And some action descriptions. And I'll try and warn you guys when actions.
Ape 1 and Ape 2. Oh, that's funny.
We're not working. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties to start with this evening. So, 11 should be working, but it's not. Let's do this. Let's try that. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, when you're ready, Tori. Sorry about that.
All right. Cut to exterior sky. Spaceball 1 is approaching in the distance. And then we cut to the interior of Spaceball 1 bridge area.
Picking up life forms in Vector 78, sir. 3 humans and a droid, alive but unconscious.
Ah, good. Just the way I like my enemies. Collapsed and defenseless. Sanders, prepare to land and pick up the prisoners.
Yes, sir.
Lone Star. At last his capture is imminent. Soon he'll be ours. Exterior desert day. Our 4 heroes are still unconscious. Music tells us doom is imminent, intimate, soon. Sound, strange scratching coming from below the sand. Camera widens to reveal source of sound. From out of the sand appear 2 little paw-like hands scratching away. Then up pops a little fuzzy head wearing a sand-colored hood. It is a dink. A dink is a lovable little creature with a vocabulary of 1 word, dink. The dink sees our heroes.
Dink!
Instantly, in quick succession, 5 other little heads pop out of the sand. They all say, in rapid succession, the word dink. All the dinks emerge from the sand. They're about 3 feet high and wear cord-tied robes and sandals. They look like miniature Benedictine monks. They examine our unconscious heroes and are obviously concerned. They chatter excitedly amongst themselves.
Dink, 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 dink.
Dink number 1, who is obviously the leader, holds up his arms and stops them. He then gestures to the others as though giving orders.
Dink, 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 dink.
The dinks surround our heroes, and we cut to a close-up of Lone Star. One of the dinks is giving him water from a canteen. Lone Star's eyes open, and he drinks gratefully.
Thank you. Where am I? Disneyland?
Dink,
Dink,
dink.
dink, dink.
We cut to a close-up of the princess. A pair of dinks are giving water to her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Dink, dink, dink.
Cut to a close-up of Barf. He's drinking greedily from a canteen held by a dink. And we cut to a close-up of Dot. One of the dinks shoves a funnel into a quart can, which reads Droid Oil 1200. The second dink lifts the can and tilts the nozzle into her mouth. We hear the thick, rich glug 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 of the oil going down her throat. The screen flips to the exterior desert later that day. Our heroes, led by the dinks, trudge through the desert towards a large dune. The dinks are all saying dink dink. Dink number 1 turns to the other dinks and barks out a series of orders. 4 of the dinks run ahead to the dune, brush the sand away from the face of it, revealing 2 large hidden doors on each of which is a mysterious symbol. The door magically opens, exposing the top of a stone staircase. The dinks indicate that they should enter.
Wait a minute. Why are we following these strange characters?
Off stage and in the distance, Dark Helmet's voice resounds through the bullhorn. Now hear this. Fan out. Search everywhere. Find them. Comb the desert. Do you hear me? Comb the desert!
Let's take a vote. All those in favor of going with these little guys, raise your hand and say aye.
They all raise their hands
Aye.
I.
and start into the open dunes after the dinks. Just before she enters, the princess lowers her arm, and we cut to insert princess's wrist. A shiny gold bracelet falls from her wrist into the sand. Back to the scene, where our heroes are all inside. The door closes behind them. A cascade of sand tumbles down and completely conceals the entrance. Cut to the interior cavern, afternoon, day. Our heroes and the dinks come down the last few steps into a stone-floored anteroom.
Where are we?
Why don't we ask them?
The dinks gesture towards a Gothic archway, then to our heroes, indicating that they should follow them through it.
Dink, dink.
I would, but I got a funny feeling no matter what we ask them, the answer is going to be dink.
Cut to the interior cavern temple room, day. The dinks and our heroes have entered a huge pillared cavern. It looks like a cross between the Temple of Doom and the Temple Beth Israel. As the cavern gradually becomes bathed in light, we see steps revealed at the far end. They lead to an altar upon which sits a 20-foot-high Buddha-like statue with gleaming ruby eyes and smoke coming out of its nostrils and its huge pointed ears. It has a forbidding look. The music is ominous and smoke gets in your nostrils. The dinks have separated into 2 groups of 4 each and are standing reverently on either side of the altar. Dink 1, once again, beckons our heroes to come forward. They edge closer to the statue.
Now what's going to happen?
Don't ask, and maybe it won't.
Suddenly, the statue breathes fire like a dragon. Barf barks. At once, the voice of the statue booms forth. The effect is impressive and scary.
Silence!
They all freeze.
Who dares enter the sacred and awesome presence of the everlasting know-it-all?
Everlasting know-it-all. Can't be. He's been dead for 1,000 years.
Ooh.
Who?
Huh.
Yogurt.
Smoke billows forth from the various parts of the temple. Loud sound effects come from everywhere.
Yogurt.
At that moment, a little hidden door in the belly of the Buddha opens. Standing there is a cute, 3-foot-high little man. He is a benign version of the fearful statue. His name is Yogurt.
You heard of me?
Heard of you? Who hasn't heard of Yogurt? Yogurt the wise, Yogurt the all-powerful, Yogurt the magnificent.
Please, 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 I'm just plain yogurt.
Aren't you the leader of the Red-Eye Knights and the possessor of the Force?
Nah, that was Alec Guinness.
Music.
I am the keeper of a greater magic, a power known throughout the universe as
Music sting.
the Schwartz.
He extends his right hand, revealing a silver ring on his middle finger. For a moment, a dazzlingly bright silver light suffuses the ring.
The Schwartz.
Don't be afraid. The Schwartz is the service of the pure and the brave and the good and the cute. May the Schwartz be with you.
Thank you, sir.
The dinks, who have gathered around Yogurt, begin chattering excitingly and tugging at his sleeve.
Oh, where are my manners? I forgot to introduce my dinks. I couldn't live without them. They work for scale. They're called Rinky, Dinky, Pinky, Stinky, and Winky.
As his name is spoken, Winky gives a wink.
Oh, thank you all so much for saving us.
Dink, 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 dink.
What do you mean, It was nothing. Hey, I'm beginning to think and dink.
Yogurt, there's something I don't understand.
Captain?
What is this place? Why are you here?
Why am I here? Huh. Why are they here? Why are we all here? In a word, merchandising.
Huh?
What? The movie's nothing anymore. The real money's in the record albums, the video cassettes, lunch boxes, sheets, towels, toilet paper, and the ultimate humiliation, action figures.
From behind him, he picks up a bunch of action figures of our heroes and yogurt in see-through display packs.
Lone Star, Barf, Dot, Princess Vespa, me. Let's face it, Toys R Us.
The exterior of the desert, day. The troopers are in the desert holding a giant black ace comb and pulling it through the sand. We cut to another part of the desert. Dark Helmet and Sanders stand atop a dune. Sanders is looking through binoculars. Dark Helmet shades his eyes from the sun.
Sir?
What is it? Sanders puts down his binoculars and turns to Dark Helmet.
Are we being too literal?
No, you fool. Keep combing. Keep combing. We cut to the interior cavern, close-up of Lone Star's fingers clasping the medallion. Night.
It's a mystery. None of the wise men could tell me what this is, or what it means.
Camera pulls back to reveal Yogurt standing beside Lone Star, who literally towers over him. The huge Buddha is right behind them.
Wise men. What do they know? They're all a bunch of dummies. Let me give it a shot.
In order to get a better look at it, Yogurt stands up and to Lone Star's surprise, reveals that until now, he's been walking around on his knees. His little green shoes turn out to be attached to his legs with rubber bands. His full-length robe is now knee-length, revealing his bare legs, little white ankle socks, and worn velvet bedroom slippers.
Oh, what a pleasure to stand up. It's hard to work on your knees at my age.
Yogurt looks at the medallion.
Oh, no wonder they couldn't figure it out. It's written in the oldest language known to man.
What's that?
Pig Latin.
Can you read it?
Essay.
What does it say?
I can't tell you.
Why?
It's too early in the picture. Be patient.
Lone Star is noticeably disappointed.
Now, concentrate and try again.
Lone Star steps back a few feet. He raises his right hand and we see that on his middle finger, he is now wearing Yogurt's silver ring.
Okay, but I still don't see how I can lift that big statue with this little ring.
Never underestimate the power of the Schwartz.
Lone Star points his ringed finger towards the giant statue, closes his eyes, and concentrates with all his might. The music, the uplifting theme of the Schwartz, and the sound of heavy shifting stone. The ring begins to glow, and lo and behold, the statue starts to rise.
Look, Lone Star, you're doing it.
Can't believe it. The power of the Schwartz. It's working.
Higher, Lone Star. Lift it higher.
The music climbing gloriously higher. Lone Star is concentrating with all his might as the statue continues to slowly rise.
Higher. Higher.
Barf comes bursting in.
Hey, boss,
Barf's mouth drops open as he sees the statue poised in midair. The mood is broken. The music stops. The statue crashes to the ground, falling on Yogurt's foot. Crash!
Oh, wow, you boy is just in there, Niskit. Oh, woof, wow, ouch.
Lone Star and Barf rush over to Yogurt.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry it fell right on your foot. Are you all right?
Don't ask foolish questions. Get that foot off my foot.
Come on, in 3, lift. 1, 2, 3, off.
Lone Star and Barf lift with all their might. The statue doesn't budge an inch.
Use the Schwartz, Lone Star. Use the Schwartz.
Stand back.
He points the ring at the statue and concentrates with all his might. The ring glows. The Schwartz theme begins. Once again, we hear the scraping of stone as the statue leaves the ground. Yogurt pulls his foot out. The music stops and the statue falls again. Crash.
Oi, that's better. That's better. That's better.
Off stage, we hear the Dinks singing. They enter wheeling a 4-tiered cake enormous enough to accommodate more lighted candles than have ever been seen on a birthday cake. They number in the thousands. As they wheel it in, they're singing Happy Birthday to You in Dink.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, I forgot it's my birthday. Those little sweethearts remembered.
They put the cake in front of Yogurt.
Boy, that's a lot of candles. How old are you?
I'm 8,542.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Make a wish.
I wish I have enough breath to blow out these candles. Here we go.
Yogurt draws in a gigantic breath and in one long exhalation starts blowing out the candles. The Dinks slowly turn the cake, which is on a lazy Susan, to help Yogurt reach all the candles. Yogurt blows and blows and blows as hundreds and then thousands of candles go out. His face changes slowly from green to red to purple. His eyes begin to bulge alarmingly. Finally, on the top tier of the cake, there is one candle still lit. Yogurt leans forward and with his last gasp blows it out. Everyone cheers and applauds, and Yogurt falls headfirst into the cake, sinking in up to his shoulders.
Oops.
We cut to the exterior desert night. Day for night. Dark Helmet and Sanders are standing on the dune upon which we last saw them.
And we switch narrators to Kyle here. So Kyle, do you want to pick up the narration here?
Oh, where I just read, sorry. The
Yeah.
exterior desert, yeah.
Isn't it
Go for it.
Sanders next?
Yeah.
Go ahead and
sorry.
start from where I started the
Oh, okay.
exterior yeah, sorry.
Dark
Well,
Helmet
that
and
one.
Sanders are standing on the dune upon which we last saw them.
There's no sign of them, sir. We've left no stone unturned.
Bullshit. What about this one?
Dark Helmet takes 2 steps and turns over a nearby stone. Underneath it, we see the golden bracelet the princess dropped. He picks it up.
See? A bracelet.
He holds it up and reads the inscription.
To Princess Vespa from King Daddy. Happy Purim. They've got to be somewhere nearby.
Well, we've searched every inch of the...
Wait.
Music,
I feel
faint reprise of the theme of the Schwartz.
I feel the presence of the Schwartz.
The Schwartz?
It's coming from
Dark Helmet turns and points to the dune where the sand-covered doors are.
down there.
Sanders takes a few steps to where Dark Helmet has indicated. He clears the sand away, revealing the doors. On each door, we see a circle with a Y in it.
You're right, sir. There's a secret entrance here.
Yogurt. I hate yogurt.
I'll call for the attack squad, sir.
No, we can't go in there. Yogurt has the Schwartz.
But don't you have the Schwartz, too?
Yes, but he got the upside. I got the downside.
Then how are we going to go in and get her?
Dark Helmet takes out his ring and places it on his right middle finger. Sanders discreetly folds his hands over his crotch.
Maybe we don't have to go in there. Maybe she'll come to us.
Sanders looks at him, puzzled. Music. Ominous. Internal, cavern, bedchamber, night. Dot is standing in a corner with her sleep mode sign blinking. Camera drifts over to the princess. She is fast asleep in bed. From offstage in the distance, the voice of King Roland calls.
Oh, Vespa, my child, where are you?
The princess blinks wide awake.
Daddy? Vespa, it's your father, King Roland. Oh, come to me. Daddy, I hear you. I hear you. Where are you? Follow my voice. Come to me, come to me.
The princess gets up and begins to follow his voice. She opens the door and leaves the room. Dot's sleep mode sign goes off as her alarm buzzer sounds. Her eyes open like the headlights on a Datsun. She looks around and sees the princess is missing. Cut to exterior desert night. King Roland, in all his royal splendor, is standing in the moonlight a few yards away from the door. We hear a bolt being slid back. The doors open, and the princess steps out into the desert. She sees her father standing there and can't believe her eyes.
Daddy, it's really you. Come to me.
She runs towards him. Another angle, cavern doorway. Dot arrives in the doorway. She stops and her eyes widen in horror. Cut to insert. On Dot's side are two buttons labeled normal vision and supervision. She presses the supervision button. Medium shot, Dot in the doorway. Her eyes suddenly glow with an infrared light. Dot's point of view, camera zooms into tight shot. King Roland. He is transparent, and inside of him we see the menacing figure of Dark Helmet. Medium shot, Dot in doorway.
No, Vespa, no!
Back to scene. Too late. The princess flings herself into King Roland's open arms, and he instantly turns into Dark Helmet.
Fooled you.
The princess screams and faints in Dark Helmet's arms. He pulls open his visor and looks at her ample bosom.
Things are looking up.
Medium shot, Dot in the doorway. She starts to run toward the princess and Dark Helmet.
Take your hands off her, you short pervert, before I...
A spaceball trooper rushes out of the darkness and into frame behind Dot. He opens a compartment in her back and yanks out her battery pack. She instantly freezes in her last position. He picks her up and carries her off under his arm. As Dot goes by Dark Helmet, he jeers at her.
You're not such a big shot now with your batteries not included. Take him aboard.
Screen flips to interior spaceball cruiser bridge.
Attention, please, at 2100 hours, there will be a victory dinner dance in the main ballroom to celebrate the capture of Princess Vespa. The topless belly dancers from planet Hulva will perform.
Dark Helmet is pouring 2 glasses of champagne as Sanders enters.
The princess and her droid are locked in their cell, sir. Mission accomplished. We're ready to depart.
Very good.
He hands Sanders a glass of champagne and takes the other one himself.
This calls for a toast to survival of the fittest.
As they clink glasses, Dark Helmet's visor falls down over his face. He's already started to toss back his champagne. The glass hits his closed visor, splashing champagne all over it. Dark Helmet slowly lifts the visor. His face is dripping with New York State champagne.
Sanders,
Yes, sir.
get me a paper towel.
Exterior desert night. Lone Star, Barf, Yogurt, and the Dinks rush out the open door of Yogurt's cavern. We hear the OS sound of the Spaceball cruiser's powerful engines taking off.
Spaceballs.
Barf's point of view, Spaceball cruiser. It blasts off into the night sky.
They got her.
Back to scene.
We've got to go after them.
I'll get you to your Winnebago.
How? You got wheels?
No, no wheels. But I got everything else.
Cut to exterior desert close-up. Yogurt through a car windshield. Day. He is peering over the steering wheel at the road ahead. Camera pulls back to reveal that Yogurt is driving a white fin-tailed 58 Caddy convertible. The top is down and Yogurt is at the wheel. Lone Star and Barf sit next to him. All the Dinks are crowded into the back seat. Music, the Boswell sisters singing "There'll Be Some Changes Made" is blasting from the radio. Camera continues to pull back, and we see that instead of wheels, the Cadillac is traveling on a cushion of air and a few feet above the ground. Yogurt makes a hard right, then left, turn around, a boulder.
Ow, I should have got power steering.
They arrive with a screeching halt right in front of the Winnebago, sitting just as they left it. Exterior, desert, day. Using a funnel, Barf has just finished pouring a can of gasoline into the Winnebago. He hands the empty can to one of the dinks, who passes it to the other dinks in fire brigade fashion until it reaches the last dink, who throws it into the open trunk of the Cadillac. The dink next to him climbs on his shoulders and shuts the trunk.
All gassed up, ready to go.
Thank you, Yogurt.
You're welcome. And here,
He reaches into his pocket and takes something out.
just in case you get hungry.
He tosses the something to Lone Star, who catches it.
A fortune cookie.
Thanks.
Well, time to go. Goodbye and good luck.
Goodbye, Yogurt. Will we ever see you again?
Who knows? God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2.
Exterior star field. Close shot of a planet. From it rises a spaceship. It is Eagle 5. Camera moves towards it. Dissolve through to interior Eagle 5 cockpit.
All right. Set course for planet Spaceball.
Can you stop somewhere for a quick bite of anything? Oh, I'm starving.
After we rescue the princess.
But I need something now. A burger, some fries.
How about a pizza?
Good idea. Who said that? A laser pistol enters frame and rests against the nape of Lone Star's neck. At the same time, another laser pistol enters frame and rests against Barf's neck. Vinny comes into frame behind Lone Star and Barf. Music, Godfather 2.
Vinny!
Vinny!
Set a course for Vega. Mr. Hutt requests the pleasure of your company.
Cut to exterior Moons of Vega day. We see Vega's type sign against the night sky. The Moons of Vega's #1 club, Pizza's Palace. Now appearing, Rodney Strangerfield. Coming next week, Sammy Davis Jr., 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 Jr. Cut to interior Pizza's Palace Lounge. Music, topless. The lounge is filled with an assortment of very strange creatures. A penguinesque maitre d' stands guard over a velvet rope that blocks the entrance. A handsome beetle-like couple enters and approaches the maitre d'. They wear large, black, semicircular discs on their back.
Good evening. Oh, sorry, is that someone else?
I thought that was me. It says maitre d'
Go ahead.
on my thing. Okay. That's all right. You can take it. Go ahead.
I think you got the next one.
Okay. Yeah.
Good evening. May I get you a table?
No, thank you. Just some chairs. We are a table.
The beetle-like couple bends over, forms a table, and moves into the room.
Here, some chairs.
Lone Star and Barf are ushered in by Vinny, who has a laser pistol pointed at them through his jacket pocket. Vinny nods to the maitre d', who opens the rope immediately. Vinny pushes Lone Star and Barf along, indicating a small booth against the rear wall. He motions for them to sit. They do. Immediately, steel bars clamp around their ankles with resounding clicks.
Wait here, please.
If you insist.
Enjoy yourselves. I'll inform Mr. Hutt of your presence here.
Continued. Vinny leaves. A beautiful waitress glides past with a tray of 4 strange drinks that smoke and bubble. She is Las Vegas gorgeous. Strangely, 2 petite antennae growing out of her forehead. And as she passes by, Lone Star and Barf look at each other quizzically. Cut to Lone Star and Barf's point of view. We now see that the strange waitress is really half woman, half snail. She slithers over to the adjoining table at which are seated 2 pumpkin-headed creatures. The female is wearing rhinestone-bedecked harlequin glasses, and the male sports a short, bushy mustache. As he sees the gorgeous waitress, his eyes begin to pop. And when she leans over to serve the drinks, his eyes literally pop out of his head and, supported by two metallic rods, position themselves above and stare lewdly down into her ravishing cleavage. His wife blows her top and chews him out in outer space pumpkinese.
Fetch, 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 fetch.
His eyes immediately fly back into their sockets with a resounding thwack. As the waitress continues on, she passes a table at which are seated two aardvark-like space creatures out on a date. They're holding fancy Mai Tai type drinks, replete with pineapple, cherry, and a little paper parasol. They clink Mai Tais, then they drop their snouts into the glasses and inhale the drinks in one vulgar snort. Snort! Cut to a small service bar. The waitress comes up to it. There's another attractive snail waitress standing there, reading from a pad. And behind the bar, a multi-armed octopus bartender is mixing a number of drinks. A third waitress slithers up to the bar, and they all begin giving their orders at once. Overlapping dialogue.
2 photo rolls with a twist.
1 low bladey, no cherry.
4 frozen daikon frashes.
1 hickory dickory dock.
Hey, give me a break. I only got 8 hands.
And now the Pizza Palace is proud to present our star attraction, that wacky alien who gets no respect, Mr. Rodney Strangerfield.
We hear a cacophony of applause. Whistles, snorts, shrieks, slorks, burbles, and glorks. Cut to angle the stage. Out comes Rodney Strangerfield, a green man who looks not unlike Rodney Dangerfield. He's wearing a space version of a Lounge Comics tuxedo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think, what a crowd. I'll tell you, it's a pleasure to finally work in a room where I'm the best looking guy.
And from the audience, we hear a series of very rude sounds.
I don't know whether you hate my act or you can't find the bathroom. No respect. I swear I get no respect.
He does a head jerk and a collar pull.
Wherever I go, I went to Mars and stayed at the Sands. Not the hotel, the whole place. There's no water there. They serve me a drink in an hourglass.
The drummer generously gives him a couple of rim shots. Suddenly, a huge half-man, half-fly with a bulbous red nose flies into frame. He buzzes loudly right past Rodney. Cut to close up the bar and lands at the bar. And back to the scene.
Hey, I'm trying to do my act. Get that barfly out of here.
Cut to close up of the bar. With his 8 arms, the bartender grabs a fly, throws him out, and from off stage, we hear a loud, drunken buzz and crash. Back to scene.
I get no respect. No respect.
Another head jerk and collar pull.
A couple weeks ago, I went to Venus. Got lucky, met a beautiful Venetian. Made love night and day, night and day, night and day. I hope it was a girl. After that, I went to Pluto. He bit me. No respect.
Big laugh in the audience. Cut to close up Lone Star and Barf. Barf turns to Lone Star. Whoa, I never thought I'd say this, but I can't wait for Pizza the Hut to kill us. From offstage comes Vinny's voice.
You just got your wish.
Vinny comes into frame.
Follow me.
He pushes a button and the clamps open. Lone Star and Barf exchange a look. Uh-oh. Cut to interior Pizza the Hut's underground headquarters. Night. Angle on large stainless steel pizza-shaped door. A triangular wedge of stainless steel door drops into it with a clang. Lone Star and Barf are herded through the opening by Vinny. He wields a laser pistol as they enter.
I'm here.
As they make their way into the room, the wedge-like door automatically closes back up into the rest of the pizza clang. Lone Star and Barf react to the clang.
Over there.
Lone Star and Barf obediently walk over to the center of the room and wait. They're standing on a red carpet that leads up steps in front of them to what appears to be the back of a primitive straw hut.
Wait here. I'll tell Mr. Hutt you're here.
Vinny marches up a small platform and addresses the hut.
They're here, pizza.
Music, The Godfather 3. Slowly, the hut begins to revolve to face a room. As it does, the lights come up. Camera moves in slowly, and we see that what we thought was a hut was really the back of a huge swivel chair throne. Upon it sits Pizza the Hut, revealed in all his gross and cheesy glory. He is, in fact, a living mountain of pizza. He beckons for Lone Star and Barf to come closer.
My God, he's a living pizza.
Yeah, he looks delicious.
Now, what do we have on the agenda? Oh, yes. I see my old friend Lone Star and his sidekick, Puke.
Oh, that's Barf.
Barf, Puke, whatever. Lone Star, I look at you and I ask myself, what has happened to our relationship? I gave you love. I gave you friendship. But more important, I gave you money.
But,
Too late. Now it is my painful duty to sentence you to your sentence. Death by pizza. Vinny, the extra thick crust.
Suddenly, hidden doors in the wall burst open, and riding out on a conveyor belt, we see an enormous pizza pie plate. On it is a 15-foot in diameter Chicago-style pizza with everything on it, ready to be cooked. Behind it roar the red-hot flames of a pizza oven. It stops directly beneath Pizza and Hut's throne. Lone Star and Barf's eyes widen in horror. What the hell is that?
That, my late friends, is going to be pizza with everything on it. Mainly you. Okay, let's get it over with. 2 to go.
Right, boss.
He points his laser pistol directly at Lone Star and Barf.
Okay, boys. Get in. And don't try nothing funny like pulling the rug out from under Mr. Hutt.
Lone Star and Barf look at each other. We can almost see the light bulbs going off over their heads. They exchange nods, bend down, and make believe they're entering the pizza.
Is this not poetic justice? 2 deadbeats ending their lives by rolling in.
now!
Lone Star and Barf grab the rug and yank it at the exact same time.
Oh, Mario, so what's happening?
The quick shift of the rug topples Pizza's throne and sends him belly flopping into the enormous pizza below. Plop. The doors swing open again, and the conveyor belt starts to bring the pizza back towards the flames.
Vinny, help!
Vinny leans down to save his boss, revealing his secret on and off button on the back of his neck. Barf picks up the heavy throne and raises it in the air, aiming it at Vinny's head. Lone Star quietly upstages Barf by casually flicking off the power switch he's noticed in the back of Vinny's neck. Now, Vinny immediately freezes, unable to help his boss, and Pizza continues on his conveyor belt journey towards the hot flames within the open doors.
Somebody stop this thing! Help me! Help me! My mozzarella's melting!
Another angle, Lone Star and Barf. They turn away from Pizza. I've always admired people who throw themselves into their work.
Me too. Come on, hurry up. We've got to get back to Eagle 5 and off this planet.
They start to run out. Cut
Cut
to
to the exterior Spaceball City day. The camera moves into the biggest of the ping-pong-like buildings. We dissolve to the interior of President Scroob's office day. Close up on the telescreen. We see King Roland on the screen.
all right, Scroob, what is it you want?
We want the combination to your air shield.
No, Daddy, no, don't tell them.
The camera pulls back further to include the princess. She is chained to the wall, manacled hands above her head.
Oh, they'll take all their air and everybody will die.
Don't be ridiculous. Do you think we're monsters? We'll only take what we need. You won't even notice it's gone.
Oh dear, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Maybe this will help you decide.
Cut to a new angle. The camera pulls back even further to reveal Dark Helmet at a fireplace filled with hot, glowing embers. The music, prelude of threatening chords. Dark Helmet pulls out a glowing hot iron out of the embers. He starts toward the princess, holding it menacingly close to her face.
The combination, or else.
Oh no, Daddy, no. Don't tell them no matter what. Ah!
She faints. Dark Helmet continues toward her, the branding iron only an inch from her face.
Wait.
Cut to a close-up of King Roland.
Stop. Don't. I'll give you the combination.
Back to scene. Dark Helmet takes the iron a few inches away from the princess's face, but still holds it threateningly close. We cut to a close-up of Scroob. He has a pencil poised over a steno pad ready to write.
Yes?
The combination is 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it? I got a more complicated combination on my luggage.
Cut to a
I've,
close-up of the telescreen.
now I've told you what you want. Please release my daughter.
Back to scene.
We will. As soon as we get our air.
Scroob turns off the telescreen. Dark Helmet walks over to him, puts the iron down on his desk, and extends his hand.
Mr. President, congratulations. You did it. Your evil plan has worked. Not only have you...
Scroob picks up the hot iron from his desk and extends it to Dark Helmet.
Hey, you're burning my desk. Put this back.
Dark Helmet unwittingly takes the iron by the white-hot end.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He walks toward the fireplace, taking about 3 steps before realizing what he is holding. Then he emits the loudest scream ever. He drops the iron like a hot potato and runs back to President Scroob's desk, where he thrusts his hot little hand into a pitcher of ice water. We hear a great hissing sound as steam rises from the pitcher.
Hey, that's my water.
Scroob looks down at the combination written on the steno pad.
Jeez. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now that we have the combination, nothing can stop us from taking every last breath of air from their planet and leaving them all to die.
After a beat, Scroob drops his eyes and looks directly into the camera.
What are you looking at?
Cut to the exterior starfield. The music is pompous. The following words come up aslant on the screen and slowly recede in triangular fashion into the distance. Breaking their word, the Spaceballs leave Princess Vespa, imprisoned whilst they proceed toward planet Druidia to carry out their dastardly plan. Those dastards. Spaceball 1 suddenly looms up into the frame and crashes into the words we've just read, strewing the starfield with broken letters. We cut to another part of the starfield. We see a spaceship approaching, speeding across the heavens. The camera moves into the ship. It is Eagle 5. Music, the Lone Star theme. We dissolve to the interior of the cockpit. Lone Star is piloting the Winnebago. Bart sits next to him, popping multicolored balls of candy into his mouth. He's holding an extra large movie theater-sized candy box labeled Spaceballs the Candy.
Well, there it is. Spaceball City. Straight ahead.
Good. Switch on the invisible landing shield.
Have we got one?
Of course, panel B, special effects.
I could swear this wasn't here before.
Cut to insert of panel B. It is labeled Panel B Special Effects. Barf opens it, revealing a switch that says Invisible Landing Shield. Barf flicks it on.
Invisible shield on.
Cut to the exterior of the starfield. Eagle 5 fades away into invisibility. Cut to the exterior of Spaceball City. Close up on two large ping-pong ball-like buildings, day, with a wide, flat bridge between them. A pair of Spaceball troopers are guarding one of the buildings, which on its door says Prison Ball 28. The noise of Eagle 5's landing jets fill the air. The dust and litter below the unseen Eagle 5 are blown in every direction. The Spaceball guards look around each other, perplexed.
What the?
Continued, and the noise stops.
Oh, come on.
They rush to investigate and crash headlong into the side of the invisible Eagle 5. Crash, smash. They fall to the ground, knocked unconscious. Cut to a medium shot of the invisible door of invisible Eagle 5. Nothing slowly opens, and gradually we see something. It is Lone Star and Barf standing in the doorway of Eagle 5, the interior of which is visible behind them. They look at the unconscious guards sprawled beneath them.
Look, the welcoming committee.
And how nice of them to bring our disguises.
Mm.
They jump down and close the door after them, making Eagle 5 invisible once again. They bend down over the guards to undo their uniforms. Lone Star quickly removes a large key ring, complete with laser keys to the cells, and grabs a laser rifle. Flip to the interior prison corridor day. It is a gleaming, seamless tube made of white mylar. Two Spaceball guards approach the camera. As they pass, the camera swivels 180 to a rear shot of the guards. One of them sports a tail. Around a corner, a pair of real guards suddenly appear, marching toward them. As the guards approach our heroes, they raise their rifles in a present arms salute. We cut to the reverse angle. Only Lone Star carries a rifle, with which he returns a salute. Sizing up the situation quickly, Barf presents his stiff tail. He and Lone Star smartly turn the corner. Cut to reverse angle. The two real guards raise their visors, look at each other puzzled, shake their heads, flip their visors back down and continue on. Back to scene. They edge past the guard sitting at a desk. The guard is so absorbed in his TV set that he doesn't notice them. Cut to a close-up of the TV screen. Coming soon to a planet near you, Death Wish 5000. A frail, white-haired old man, looking not unlike 150-year-old Charles Bronson, is standing next to another man.
Do that to my great-great-granddaughter? Give me my Magnum 375.
The man leads him to an enormous nickel-plated revolver. The old man takes it with both hands and turns as if to fire at someone, but the gun is too heavy for him, and he falls flat on his face. Back to scene, Lone Star and Barf look at each other and head down the corridor. Cut to another prison corridor. Lone Star and Barf come to a large stainless steel door. They can go no further. The sign above it reads, VIP prisoners, maximum security, keep out.
She must be in there.
He pulls out the key ring and tries several of the laser keys. The third one works, and the door slides open with a hiss. They enter quickly, and the door hisses closed behind them. Cut to the reverse angle. We see a row of cells, and on this side of the door, the sign reads, VIP prisoners, maximum security, keep in. Cut to a closer angle on Lone Star and Barf, in the maximum security cell block.
She's got to be in one of these cells.
We hear from a nearby cell a rich bass Paul Robeson-like voice singing.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. That can't be her.
Lone Star opens a panel, and we cut to Lone Star's POV. The princess sits on her bunk singing in a rich, low bass voice.
Nobody knows but me.
It's her.
What?
She sings low.
Barf and Lone Star look at each other surprised. We hear the sound of the laser key in the lock. Lone Star opens the door.
Princess!
She turns around, startled.
Oh, Lone Star. How did you find me?
She rises. They exchange a look of love and begin to move toward each other without even realizing it. And the music is Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet overture.
I can name that tune in 3 notes.
The music stops. The mood is shattered.
Oh, come on. We've got to get out of here. Oh, wait, Dot. Well, she can't move. They took her batteries.
Cut to the princess's POV, where Dot lies lifeless in a corner.
Well, I got batteries. Wait.
He zips down the front of his Spaceball Guard uniform and starts to search through the ammunition belt.
Let me see. Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Rolls. Oh, batteries.
Barf starts putting the batteries into Dot.
Hurry. Oh, they thought I was unconscious, but I heard them.
Who?
President Scroob. He lied. They're going to take every bit of air and let everyone die.
Come on, Barf. Did you hear that? Carry her. We'll put the batteries in later.
Barf picks up Dot and they all rush out of the cell. The screen flips to the interior of another prison corridor day. Lone Star, the princess, and Barf are stealthily tiptoeing down the corridor. Barf is carrying Dot and inserting the rest of the batteries into her battery pack. Music, stealthy tiptoe music. The sound, an ominous electronic rattle. Lone Star holds up his hand, signaling for them to stop.
Hold it. Listen.
From around the corner comes a small, menacing electronic scorpion robot. Its laser tail is raised up and pointing right at our heroes.
Uh-oh. Scorpion druid. Watch out. It's deadly.
It gets closer and closer and louder and louder. Suddenly, a high-pitched whine emanates from its quivering tail. It's about to fire its lethal ray, and Barf steps on it, flattening it like a water bug. Scrunch.
It was deadly. Now it's just dead.
They continue down the corridor. Lone Star points ahead to a single beam of light crossing the corridor about a foot from the floor.
Be careful.
Lone Star very carefully steps over the beam without breaking it. The princess does the same. Barf, working on Dot, does it perfectly, except that he forgets about his tail. We cut to a close-up of Barf's tail hanging down beside him, and it breaks the beam. Back to scene. Instantly, the air is filled with the sound of a high-pitched escape alarm. Blat, blat, blat. Mylar walls begin alternately glowing red and white. Barf quickly sticks the last battery into Dot's battery pack and closes the compartment. Dot instantly comes back to life. As I was saying, where am I? What's happening? The gaggle of guards comes careening around the corner, out of the corridor behind them, brandishing laser rifles. Our heroes see them.
We'll explain later. Run for it!
They begin running for their lives. The guards open fire. Laser bursts explode all around them. Zap, zap, zap. What a time to come back to life! They run around the corner. Cut to another interior prison corridor day. As they appear around the corner, they are greeted by a series of laser blasts. Zap, 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 zap. Cut to our heroes' POV. Ahead of them, blocking the corridor, we see 4 Spaceball guards manning deadly laser rifles. Back to scene. They step back only to hear more guards coming up from behind them.
We're trapped.
What do we do? Barf spots a series of bent semicircular mylar tubes. He reaches over and tears them out of the wall.
What are you doing?
Watch this.
He sticks his head around the corner and taunts the guards.
Na 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 na.
They reply by sending out an angry fusilage of laser blasts. Barf immediately sticks out the mylar tubes. The laser blasts go in one in the tube and shoot out the other, right back at the guards. Just as they realize what's happening, they are blasted by their own fire. Zap, 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 zap. Lone Star slaps Barf on the back.
Good work!
They all run down the corridor past the 4 zapped Spaceball guards. Ahead of them, Two huge stainless steel slabs begin to move toward each other to seal off the corridor. One comes from the ceiling and the other comes from the floor.
It's closing.
Go for broke! Everybody dive on 3! 3!
In unison, all four do a spectacular tuck, roll, and dive, just clearing the stainless steel slabs before they come together. The last thing we see is Barf's tail, barely making it. Clang! A barrage of laser blasts bounce off the stainless steel. Cut to the interior of the prison corridor, the other side of the door, day. The corridor shakes, and the echo of the boom still reverberates in the air. We see the backs of our heroes as they jump in unison to their feet, like a military drill team. We hear an ominous, offstage voice. Don't move, or you're dead. We've got him, Captain. We cut to a reverse angle. Ringing around the room are 4 spaceball troopers with their lasers at the ready. The captain imperiously strides into the room. Someone else want to take the captain for me here?
Sure. Sensational stunt, my friends, but all for naught. Now, clasp your hands behind your head and slowly turn around.
They begin to turn around.
So, Princess, you thought...
Cut to the wide reverse angle. We see the 4 prisoners with their hands clasped behind their heads. They are all men, including the princess, who's wearing a long curly wig, badly in need of a shave, and smoking a short black cigar.
You idiots! These are not them. They've captured their stunt doubles. Oh, search the area. Find them. Find them.
The escape alarm goes off again. Blat, 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 blat. We cut to the exterior Spaceball City close-up. The 2 large ping-pong ball-like buildings with a wide flat bridge between them, day. Our heroes run out of Prison Ball 28.
Where's the ship?
How are we going to get away?
Oh, don't worry. It's here somewhere.
Barf runs ahead of the others and collides at full speed with the invisible Eagle 5. Crunch! He turns around. The front of his visor is totally flattened out.
I found it.
Barf opens the invisible door, revealing the now visible interior of Eagle 5. He jumps in.
Come on, get in. Hurry.
Barf heads for the cockpit. Lone Star jumps up, helps the princess and Dot in, and closes the door. Once again, everything is invisible. We hear the sound of the engines starting. The dust and litter on the bridge below the unseen Eagle 5 are again blown in every direction. We hear them picking up speed and flying off into the heavens.
We cut to the exterior star field. Eagle 5 gradually becomes visible again and flies through the heavens. Cut to the interior of Eagle 5 cockpit. Lone Star and Barf are seated in the cockpit, staring at the telescreen. It is filled with static snow. The princess and Dot are standing above them, leaning over their shoulders.
Dean Roland, come in. This is Eagle 5. This is Eagle 5. We have your daughter.
Daddy, I'm free. Change the combination to the air shield. Quick, the space balls are on the way. Come in, Daddy, come in.
No good. We're still out of range.
Keep trying. Keep trying.
Eagle Roland, this is Eagle 5. Come in.
The telescreen goes black. Lone Star looks out the windscreen. We cut to the exterior star field. Spaceball 1 and Planet Druidia are in the distance. Eagle 5 enters frame, flying toward it. Cut to the interior of Eagle 5 cockpit.
Look, it's Spaceball 1. They've reached the air shield.
The princess, Dot, and Barf turn to look out the windscreen. Cut to our hero's point of view, through the windscreen. The air shield begins to open.
And it's opening.
Back to scene.
How are they going to get the air out? I don't see hoses or anything. Oh, what's happening? Spaceball 1, it's changing.
Cut to our hero's point of view. The music is magnificent fanfare. The camera moves in on the screen. Through the magic of computer animation, we watch Spaceball 1 as it begins an amazing metamorphosis from enormous spaceship to gigantic robot.
Hey, it's not only a spaceship, it's a transformer.
What is it? What's it changing into?
It looks like a gigantic maid holding an enormous...
Vacuum cleaner.
Spaceball 1 is now totally transformed into a giant robot/maid. It holds an enormous upright vacuum cleaner. Its face and head, formerly the bridge area, vaguely resembles the face and head of the Statue of Liberty. The giant windscreen has become its crown observation deck. The music, the magnificent fanfare, ends in a glorious crescendo, and we cut to the interior Mega Maid bridge area. It has physically changed to accommodate its new identity.
Metamorphosis complete. Spaceball 1 has now become Mega Maid.
Music, kettle drums.
The greatest achievement in Spaceball history.
Music, Spaceballs the song, a driving hard rock theme featuring the oft-repeated lyric, Spaceballs.
Turn that goddamn loud music off. I can't stand it.
Cut to a close-up of the radio operator. He flips a switch down, and the music stops. Back to scene.
Proceed.
Dark Helmet steps up to the microphone. We cut to a close-up of Dark Helmet. Commence Operation Mega Suck.
Oops.
Cut to the exterior starfield. We see the enormous stainless steel switch on the vacuum cleaner handle. Cut to close-up of the switch. On it are 3 positions: on, off, and reverse. It is pointed straight up in the off position. Mega Maid's gigantic metallic thumb slowly moves into frame and pushes the switch to the on position. Immediately, the air is filled with an incredible roar of the tremendous vacuum cleaner. Camera pulls back to reveal all of Mega Maid with her vacuum cleaner. Mega Maid pushes her vacuum cleaner menacingly and relentlessly towards the open window of the air shield. Big music, grave danger. Cut to the exterior atmosphere of planet Druidia Day. We see the hungry mouth of the vacuum cleaner protruding through the window of the air shield. The sound of the vacuum cleaner roar grows louder. We see fluffy white clouds being sucked into the huge maw of the vacuum cleaner. We cut to the exterior planet Druidia Day. The shadow of the vacuum cleaner falls across a grove of trees with a rush of air. Swoosh! The tree limbs are pulled straight up and all the leaves are vacuumed up into the sky until the trees are completely bare. Cut to the exterior of the Crystal Cathedral Day. A group of Druidians are exiting the church, some of them in the doorway shaking hands with the minister. Suddenly, the shadow of the vacuum cleaner falls over them with a rush of air. Swoosh! They look up, terrified. Hats and an occasional toupee fly off, and women fight to keep their skirts down. Cut to exterior snow-capped mountain Day. The mountain looks not unlike Mount Fuji. The shadow falls across it. Swoosh! And the snow is immediately vacuumed off the top of the mountain. We cut to the exterior Tokyo Street Day. It's a color stock shot from a Japanese sci-fi movie. A shadow falls across a group of Japanese people as they look skyward in terror, pointing and gesticulating. Cut to the interior of King Roland's throne room and office Day. King Roland is sitting alone at his throne. He is holding a picture of his daughter, looking at it fondly and sadly. Gasping for air, he slumps back in his throne, closes his eyes, and drops the picture to the floor. We cut to the interior of the Eagle 5 cockpit. Our 4 heroes anxiously look out the windscreen.
The airbag, it's almost full. What'll we do?
Cut to our hero's point of view through the windscreen. Mega Maid is monolithically vacuuming away, the airbag expanding at an alarming rate. The sound of the vacuum grows menacingly louder. Back to scene.
We've got to act fast. Step 1, reverse the vacuum and blow the air back to the planet. Step 2, we destroy that monster.
But isn't that dangerous?
Extremely.
A screen flips to the exterior Eagle 5. A ramp begins to extend from the bottom of the ship. When we cut to a closer angle, we hear a mighty roar, and Lone Star comes rocketing down the ramp on a wheelless, stainless steel motorcycle-like space bike. Mounted on the gas tank in front of Lone Star sits his symbol, a silver eagle. Lone Star turns the handle, revving the bike to the max. Jet flames spew out of the twin exhausts. The music, cowboy to the rescue. We cut to a new angle. Lone Star is approaching the huge handle of the vacuum cleaner. We cut to a closer shot. He reaches down into his pocket on the side of his seat and pulls out a length of coiled, shiny steel cable. It's a space lariat. Cut to a new angle. Lone Star swoops down on the switch, twirling the space lariat in a big circle above his head. And then we cut to the camera directly behind this huge stainless steel switch. Lone Star grows larger and larger, flying towards us and still twirling the lariat. When it looks like he's just about to crash into the switch, he turns his space bike hard to the right, neatly lassoing the switch as he goes by. We cut to a close-up of Lone Star. He ties the cable around the base of the Silver Eagle. Back to scene. The noose tightens on the switch, and suddenly it is jerked from on to off. The deafening roar of the vacuum suddenly ceases. For the first time in the entire movie, there is absolutely no sound. We cut to the interior of the Eagle 5 cockpit.
It stopped. He's got the switch to off. Now, if he can only get it to reverse. Come on, Lone Star, come on. Oh, please, Lone Star, please.
Cut to the exterior star field. Lone Star revs his bike for all it's worth, trying desperately to get the vacuum into reverse. Cut to the insert of Silver Eagle. The base of the Silver Eagle that the lariat is wrapped around begins to crack. Back to scene. Lone Star continues to rev the bike. We see the strain on the steel lariat as it pulls at the switch.
Come on, baby, come on!
Cut to insert the switch. As the lariat tugs at it, it vibrates wildly but doesn't budge. Cut to insert Silver Eagle. The crack begins to widen. Crack, 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 break. Back to scene. As the Eagle breaks off, the steel lariat flies free. Lone Star manages to grab it just in time. He hangs on with both hands, at the same time gripping the space bike with his legs. Cut to the interior of Eagle 5 cockpit, close up the princess.
Oh, no.
Cut to the exterior starfield. Lone Star is desperately hanging on to the lariat. The space bike begins to slip from beneath him.
I can't! It's no use!
Suddenly, from behind him comes a voice.
Use the Schwartz, Lone Star. Use the Schwartz.
Cut to a new angle. Yogurt is seated behind Lone Star on the space bike, wearing a crash helmet and a motorcycle jacket that reads, Spaceballs, the movie. He is an apparition. We can almost see through him.
Yogurt! Where did you come from?
Never mind, this is no time for small talk. Use the Schwartz.
But I don't have the ring.
Ah, forget the ring. The ring is Bucus. It's nothing. I found it in a Cracker Jack box. The Schwartz is not in the ring. It was never in the ring. It's in you.
In me?
Yes, it's always been in you. You can believe it. You can do it, Lone Star. Believe. Believe.
I'll try, Yogurt. I'll try.
Lone Star believes with all his might. He begins to pull the lariat toward him, hand over hand. A glow emanates from Lone Star through him to the lariat.
That's it, Lone Star. That's it.
The glow around Lone Star and the space bike grows brighter. The camera follows up the lariat, now glowing brilliantly. Cut to close-up of the lariat and the vacuum. We see the noose tightening around the switch, which is now slowly beginning to move. Music, and the power, and the glory. The lariat becomes more and more taut until finally the switch goes into reverse with a deafening click that resounds through the starfield. The music, forever. The vacuum instantly roars to life again, only this time in reverse. The airbag begins to deflate. Back to scene.
Yogurt! The Schwartz! It worked!
Lone Star turns and sees that Yogurt is gone.
Thanks, Yogurt.
From nowhere in the distance, we hear Yogurt's fading voice.
You're welcome. And we switch narrators to Kyle.
You're muted, Kyle.
Let's do that again. Interior Eagle 5 cockpit. Overlapping dialogue.
He did it!
Hooray!
Yahoo!
Interior Mega Maid bridge area. Everybody is looking out the windscreen, confused, not knowing why the airbag is deflating. Helmet! What the hell's going on? Sanders, what's happening?
It's Mega Maid.
Yes,
She's gone from suck to blow.
she's what?
Continued. That's terrible! Do something! They're getting all their air back! Cut to interior King Roland's throne room office day. King Roland is lying back on his throne, his eyes closed. Camera moves to the photograph of Princess Vespa. It is lying on the floor where he dropped it. After a beat, the photograph gently flutters. Air is returning to the almost airless room. Camera moves to the drapes, which begin to gently blow in the room. Camera moves back to King Roland. He takes a deep breath of fresh air and opens his eyes.
I'm breathing air.
Exterior, Crystal Cathedral, day. People are standing, sitting, kneeling, and lying on the lawn outside of the Crystal Cathedral. They are variously gasping for breath, holding their breath, and breathless. Suddenly, there is the sound of air returning. Everyone miraculously revives and happily gulps deep draughts of fresh air. Cut to exterior snow-capped mountain, day. The Mount Fuji look-alike is still bare and drab. Suddenly, from the sky, the snow returns and lands back on the mountain. Plop! Once again, it is a snow-capped thing of beauty. Cut to exterior Tokyo street, day. Another color stock shot from a Japanese sci-fi movie. A joyful group of Japanese extras look upward and cheer. Cut to exterior Mega Maid. The Winnebago carefully approaches her left ear. Music, space tremolo. Cut to interior Eagle 5 cockpit.
Here we go.
Are you sure this is gonna work?
Of course not.
Cut to reverse angle, over the shoulder shot through windscreen. Eagle 5 enters the dark hole of Mega Maid's ear. The windscreen goes black.
Dim lights. Activate infrared viewer.
The lights dim and the telescreen lights up. Close-up telescreen. Displayed in red on the screen is a schematic animation of our hero's point of view through the ear. We see Eagle 5 proceeding through the dark red canal of Mega Maid's ear. Back to scene. Our heroes' faces are bathed in red light. Suddenly, the ship lurches. We hear a strange hollow sound.
What was that?
It's okay. We just hit our eardrum.
Lone Star presses a button in front of the telescreen. The images rapidly change.
What are you doing?
Scanning.
Interior, Mega Maid's ear canal. We see the scanning mechanism on the underside of Eagle 5. It slowly revolves 360 degrees while emitting a low humming sound and projecting an infrared beam. Music, infrared sails in the sunset. Back to scene.
There's got to be a self-destruct mechanism somewhere in the central brain area.
He keeps scanning. Interior, Mega Maid's ear canal. Below Eagle 5, the scanner suddenly points down and stops. Its hum changes to a low, urgent beeping. Back to scene.
Think I found it.
Where?
Watch.
He presses a button, enlarging the picture. Close-up, telescreen. We see a schematic of a small chamber. It grows larger and larger. Finally, in the center of it, we discover a red pulsating light.
Bingo.
Back to scene.
There it is, right below us. Put her in hover, Barf. I'm going down there.
Interior Mega Maid's inner ear canal. Lone Star is hanging down from the Winnebago on the last rung of the lucid rope ladder. He drops to the bottom of the ear canal and makes his way to a nearby door with a sign on it that reads, "Emergency Exit." He opens the door, enters, and quietly closes the door behind him. As he does so, a small yellow light blinks on at the bottom of the door. Cut to interior Megamade bridge area. A security technician is sitting at his console. A little yellow light flashes on the board in front of him. Security technician.
Colonel Sanders, I'm picking up a silent alarm in the self-destruct complex.
Spot it for me.
Close-up security monitor. We see Lone Star making his way down one of the high-tech corridors in the self-destruct complex. Back to scene. Dark Helmet leaps to his feet.
Lone Star.
I'll call the guards.
No, he's mine. I'll handle this.
Interior Megamade self-destruct complex. A guard, rifle at the ready, stands at attention in front of a door. A sign in front of it reads, "No unauthorized or authorized personnel permitted to enter." Lone Star's arm enters the frame and circles the guard's neck. Camera pulls back to reveal Lone Star, overpowering the guard in less than 2 seconds with a perfectly aimed karate chop to the base of his skull. The guard crumples to the floor, unconscious. Lone Star takes the guard's keyring, he inserts one of the keys into a slot, and a panel next to the door slides open. A robot voice is activated.
Handprint identification, please.
Excuse me.
He reaches down and pulls the unconscious guard's hand into frame and onto the plate. The door slides open, Lone Star drops the guard's hand.
Thank you.
He enters the inner ear chamber. At one end of it is a stainless steel door that leads to the self-destruct mechanism itself. At the other end is the guard's quarters. There is a double-tiered stainless steel bunk, a locker, and a small washstand. Lone Star's point of view. There is a guard shaving at the washstand, his face covered with shaving cream. He peers into a little round shaving mirror sitting on a shelf above the sink. A large towel on a rack next to him has a huge picture of Dark Helmet on it. It reads, "Dark Helmet, the towel." Back to scene. Lone Star is totally surprised to see another guard. He reaches for his gun and realizes he doesn't have it. Cut to Lone Star's point of view, the guard. He yells over his shoulder.
Is that you, Mylar?
Back to scene. Lone Star doesn't answer. He looks around desperately for a weapon. He spots something. Cut to insert can of shaving cream. It is sitting on the washstand and reads, "Spaceballs, the shaving cream." Back to scene. Lone Star closes his eyes and concentrates with all his might. Music, the Schwartz shimmer. The shaving cream starts to tremble and moves through the air towards Lone Star. The amazed guard follows it with his eyes. The can comes to rest in Lone Star's palm.
What the? Who are you?
You forgot your eyes.
With 2 quick bursts, he fills the guard's eyes with shaving cream. Splurt, splurt. The guard opens his mouth to yell for help.
Oh.
Lone Star quickly fills his mouth with shaving cream and then knocks him senseless with a karate chop. He removes the gun from the guard's holster and jams it into his belt. He slides open the steel door and quickly enters the self-destruct room. On the wall opposite the door is the red pulsating light that we saw earlier in the schematic. It is part of the self-destruct mechanism. Just below it is a sign reading, "Self-destruct button. Do not push unless you really, really mean it." Lone Star is just about to push the button when he hears a voice behind him.
Not so fast.
Lone Star whirls around. Lone Star's point of view. Dark Helmet is poised in the doorway, his ringed hand extended toward Lone Star.
Dark Helmet.
So, Lone Star, at last we meet for the first time, for the last time.
Back to scene. Lone Star whips his gun out of his belt, and before he can even aim it, we hear a low thrumming sound, and a green beam from Dark Helmet's ring burns it out of his hand. Lone Star shakes his hand in pain.
You think that hurts? You ain't felt nothing yet.
Continued. Dark Helmet now points his ringed fist directly at Lone Star's crotch. Low, unearthly thrumming sound. He twists his fist. The deadly green beam shoots out of the ring at Lone Star's crotch. A split second before the beam gets there, Lone Star does a spectacular Baryshnikov-like leap, touching both toes with both hands. It's an incredible mid-air split. The beam explodes and burns a hole in the wall.
Not bad, Risha. Now what do you do for an encore?
Dark Helmet fires again. Lone Star does a terrific backflip, landing back in the guard's quarters. Dark Helmet blasts at him through the open doorway. Lone Star just manages to sidestep it. The wall explodes right next to him. A piece of the wall flies off and hits him in the head. He is momentarily stunned. He staggers back, unconsciously trapping himself between the bunk and the locker. Dark Helmet quickly takes advantage of the situation. He points his ringed fist at Lone Star's crotch.
And now, say goodbye to your two best friends, and I don't mean your pals in the Winnebago.
Music, au revoir, family jewels. Out of the corner of his eye, Lone Star spots the shaving mirror on the shelf above the sink. He closes his eyes and concentrates. Music, the Schwartz shimmer.
Ready? Here it comes.
The shaving mirror flies off the shelf across the room and into Lone Star's hand. He brings it down to his crotch a split second before the beam strikes. It bounces off the mirror and heads back for Dark Helmet.
And there it goes.
The reflected beam now heads directly for Dark Helmet's astonished genitalia.
No!
It slams into him with all the vicious force he intended for Lone Star. He lets out a scream that even people who hate villains don't want to hear. He crumples to the floor, whining in agony.
If I were you, I wouldn't lift anything heavy for a few days.
Lone Star hurries through the doorway to the next room and pressures the self-destruction button. All hell breaks loose as Mega Maid's self-destruction alarm sirens are set off. The sirens wail in the familiar two-note repetition of European police cars.
And we switch to Aubrey.
Cut to interior, Mega Maid bridge area. We hear the sirens wail through the loudspeakers.
Screw?
I can take it, the loudspeaker line.
No, it's Screw.
Oh,
That's
screw.
screwed.
Sorry.
Oh, that's me? Whoops. Your attention, please. The termination mechanism
Oh no,
has been
the
activated.
what's that?
Up
Where the
line.
hell are we there?
Oh, whoops.
One.
What's that? Where the hell are we? Paris?
A Nissan type voice, a female voice, booms through the loudspeaker.
Your attention, please. The termination mechanism has been activated. In exactly 2 minutes, this ship will self-destruct.
Holy shit! How did that happen, Sanders? Stop it! Do you hear me? Stop it!
I can't. It's irreversible.
Like my raincoat.
Sanders takes the microphone.
Attention, this is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon spaceship! Abandon spaceship! All personnel proceed to escape pods.
He presses a button that starts the escape horn. All the crew members on the bridge jump up and make a mad scramble for the escape pods. Cut to close up, radio operator. As he jumps up, he inadvertently flips up the switch that turns the radio on. Immediately, Spaceballs the song fills the bridge with its blaring beat. Cut to interior Eagle 5 cockpit. We hear Mega Maid's alarm sirens.
What's happening? Where is he? Where is he?
Here, Lone Star comes up through the open hatch and runs to the cockpit, shouting as he goes, "We've got a minute for you to get out of here before the end of the world." He straps himself in. "Buckle up. Here we go." We hear one loud click as they all buckle up simultaneously. He pushes the throttle forward, and we hear a loud roar of Eagle 5's engines. Cut to interior Mega Maid's inner ear. Eagle 5 rockets away down the ear canal. Cut to interior Mega Maid's bridge area. Alarm sirens and horns continue to sound. Spaceballs the song continues to blast away. The bridge is crowded with spaceball troopers rushing to their escape pods.
Launch all escape pods as soon as they are filled. Evacuate the zoo. In exactly 1 minute, this ship will self-destruct. In exactly 1 minute, this ship will self-destruct.
Dark Helmet hobbles in, still in obvious pain.
Lord Helmet, somebody pushed the self-destruct button.
I know, I was there.
Well, what happened, huh? What happened?
Son of a bitch pulled a mirror on me.
Suddenly he screams and jumps as an elephant and his handler go lumbering by. They are followed by clowns, acrobats, and the sideshow characters, notably the human skeleton. The mass exodus continues. We see belly dancers, football players, marathon runners, cheerleaders, drum majorettes, all heading for their escape pods.
Gotta get out of here. Where's my pod? Where's my escape pod?
Area 6, sir.
Dark Helmet fights his way through the crowd.
Area 6, Area 6.
Camera follows him as he makes his way to Area 6. He comes to an escape pod with a sign over it that reads, Area 6, Lord Helmet's personal escape pod. He slides open the curved glass door and finds himself face to face with an enormous bearded lady. She is strapping herself into his pod. As she reaches for the door/launch lever, he screams at her.
Get out of there. Who the hell are you?
The bearded lady, wanna make something out of it?
She pulls the lever, the door slams in Dark Helmet's face, and the pod rockets away with a sonic explosion. Cut 2. Reverse angle. Dark Helmet's face is squished against the glass door, and we can barely hear him sobbing.
Back, you fat bitch.
Cut 2. Exterior Starfield. Triangular pod launchers extend from around the Megamaid's head. Different sized escape pods are rapidly being launched from them. Music alarms and horns continue blaring throughout. With each launching, we hear a firework-like explosion. Cut 2. Interior. Megamaid bridge area. Everybody has evacuated. Excuse me. The place is a wreck.
In exactly 30 seconds, this ship will self-destruct.
Suddenly, from either side of the frame, Sanders and Dark Helmet come running in.
Somebody stole my pod.
Somebody stole my pod.
Close-up, Scroob standing by his pod.
Nobody stole my pod.
He opens the door.
So long, boys. It's been fun.
He starts to get into his pod. Sanders and Dark Helmet run to Scroob's pod.
Oh, no, you don't.
Scroob is in his pod and about to buckle himself up. Sanders arrives first and pulls Scroob out. Meanwhile, Dark Helmet runs behind them and jumps in. Scroob sees this.
Oh, no, you don't, you little fonts.
While they're struggling, Sanders gets in. Dark Helmet grabs Sanders and pulls him out.
Oh, no, you don't. You...
In the meantime, Scroob gets in and quickly pulls the lever. Dark Helmet and Sanders pull him out just as the doors start to close. They all look in horror as the empty pod rockets off with an ironic boom. They look at each other.
You
putz! In
Putz.
exactly 10 seconds, this ship will self-destruct. Counting down. 10, 8, 7.
Wait, whoa, what happened to 9?
Just kidding. 9, 6.
Whoa!
Interior, Eagle 5 cockpit. Through the windscreen, a dot of starlight in the distance grows larger as we approach it.
The other end! Faster!
Cut to interior, Megamaid bridge area.
4, 3, 2.
Cut to exterior Starfield. Eagle 5 bursts out of Megamaid's right ear, full throttle. Cut to interior, Megamaid bridge area. Scroob, Dark Helmet, and Sanders are huddled together, clutching each other desperately.
1, 0. Goodbye. Have a good day.
Exterior Starfield. Wide shot, including all of Megamaid. The little white dot of Eagle 5 is speeding away. Instantly, the black Starfield in space is lit up by the blinding orange-white light of an ear-shattering explosion to end all explosions. It sends parts of Megamaid and her vacuum cleaner flying all over the heavens. Cut to Closer shot, Megamaid's head. It tumbles end over and like a huge metallic football through space. Cut to interior Eagle 5 cockpit. They're all jubilant.
Yahoo!
We made it.
You did it! I don't know how, but you did it!
Oh, nothing to it. Just one ear and out the other. Cut to interior King Roland's throne room / office. Day. An overjoyed King Roland rises from his radar screen and addresses 2 royal ministers.
Lone Star's done it. He's defeated the Spaceballs. Ring the victory bells. Send forth the joyous news. Let everyone know. Wake up, Prince Valium.
Cut to exterior Starfield. Eagle 5 goes through the open window in the air shield, passing from the dark of outer space into the beautiful azure sky that surrounds planet Duridia. Cut to interior Eagle 5 cockpit. Lone Star is flying the ship. Barf is snoozing, his legs propped up on the control panel. His foot slips, and he kicks the intercom switch. Cut to insert intercom. A red light labeled rear cabin lights up. Back to scene. Lone Star leans over to switch it off. Just before he does, Princess Vespa's voice comes over the intercom speaker.
I don't care. I don't love Prince Valium. I love Lone Star, and I'm giving up the throne.
Lone Star's eyes widen. Cut to interior Eagle 5 rear quarters. The princess is seated. Dot stands behind her, brushing her hair in preparation for landing. Dot is upset by the princess's declaration.
You can't. You have no choice, my dear. You're a princess. You must marry a prince.
I don't care. I love him, and I know he loves me. I can see it in his eyes.
And you'd give up everything for him.
Yes, everything.
She gets up.
And I'm going to tell him right now.
Cut to interior Eagle 5 cockpit. Lone Star shakes Barf, waking him up. Wake up! Wake up! Listen, whatever I say, just go along with it. Understand?
Okay, yeah. What?
Lone Star hears the rear cabin door open. He looks up into his rearview mirror. Cut to Lone Star's POV through the mirror. We see the princess about to enter the cockpit area through the drapes. Back to scene. In love with the princess? Are you kidding? It was all an act. Cut to Lone Star's POV through mirror. The princess steps behind the drapes. Cut to close up the princess. She's hurt and perplexed as she listens. Back to scenes.
But you told me you thought she was...
Lone Star kicks Barf under the control panel and surreptitiously jerks his thumb, indicating the princess partially be hidden behind the drapes. Yeah, a self-centered, spoiled brat.
Oh, yeah.
You too sees the princess in the rearview mirror.
That's what you said. Oh, now I remember.
Cut to close-up princess. Tears are welling in her eyes. I can't wait to get rid of her and collect that reward. 1 million space bucks. Think of all the fun we can have back in Vegas. Or Vega. A tear rolls down the princess's cheek. She turns quickly and goes back to the rear quarters. We hear the door shut behind her. Back to scene.
I don't know what you had in mind, but if you wanted her to stop loving you, you sure did a good job.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to let her give up being a princess just so she can hang out with the space bum for the rest of her life. Camera moves into Lone Star's face. Music, bittersweet. Cut to
exterior Crystal Cathedral day. Eagle 5, its jet still smoking, has just landed on the lawn and is surrounded by a throng of happy, cheering Druidians. We hear the sound of its jet engines winding down to a stop. King and Roland and his 2 royal ministers are waiting under a canopy at the end of a red carpet that leads to Eagle 5. A small brass band is standing nearby.
And strike up the national anthem.
The band plays Hooray for Hollywood. The door of Eagle 5 opens, and Princess Vespa bursts out. She rushes into her father's outstretched arms. Dot follows after her, and then Barf. Lone Star hangs back in the doorway of Eagle 5. Prince Valium, yawning, saunters up to the princess and King Roland. Stealing a glance at Lone Star, the princess passionately kisses a surprised Prince Valium. Cut to a close-up of Lone Star. It is not wasted on him. Wipe to the exterior royal reception area. Day.
As king of a grateful planet, I hereby bestow upon Captain Lone Star and his sidekick, Bartholomew, the highest honor that is in our power to grant.
He takes out a medal hanging on a red ribbon and places the ribbon around Lone Star's neck. At the same time, one of the royal ministers places an identical medal around Barf's hairy neck.
The Druidian Medal of Thank You.
You're welcome.
And now, let us all make ready for a truly joyous occasion, the royal wedding of Princess Vespa and Prince Valium.
With a big smile, the king looks happily over to his daughter. She isn't smiling. Instead, she is looking at Lone Star, and he in turn stares at her. The king's smile fades as he realizes that they love each other.
Yes.
Cut to the exterior of the Crystal Cathedral. Day. The camera moves into the sign on the lawn of the church. It reads, "Today, royal wedding, Princess Vespa to Prince Valium." And underneath, take 2. Dissolve to the interior of the Crystal Cathedral. Day. We hear the mumble, murmur, and general hubbub of the wedding guests. A closer shot of one of the pews. The guests in the pews, obviously extras who are not allowed to say real words, say mumble, 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 murmur, 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 and hubbub, hubbub, hubbub. Cut to another angle on top of the aisle. King Roland and Princess Vespa in her wedding gown are poised at the top of the aisle.
Are you all right, my dear? You look a little flighty. Oh, don't worry, Father. I'm completely over him. He didn't even stay for the wedding. Oh, just grabbed his million space bucks and ran. Oh, but he didn't take the million. He didn't? No, he just took 248 space bucks for toys and gas and lunch.
The wedding march starts.
And it's time, my dear.
He offers his arm to Princess Vespa. She takes it, and they start down the aisle. Her eyes tell us she's been sensationally bewildered by this information. We cut to the interior of Eagle 5 cockpit, where Lone Star glumly flies the Winnebago.
At least we could have stayed for the royal sit-down dinner. I'm starving. Oh, we got anything to eat?
No. Wait a minute. Yogurt gave me this fortune cookie. You can have it.
Oh, thanks.
Barf breaks open the cookie. Instead of the usual little paper fortune, out comes a spray of sparkling, shimmering particles of light, accompanied by a beautiful harp glissando. The shimmering lights form themselves into the figure of Yogurt.
Yogurt.
Yogurt. Oh.
Hello, boys. Okay, Lone Star, here's your fortune. You know that medallion you wear around your neck that you don't know what it means? Well, here's what it means. It's a royal birth certificate. Your father was a king. Your mother was a queen, which makes you a certified charming prince.
I'm a prince. Hey, that means...
That means if you hurry, there's liable to be a princess in your future. Now, if you want to get back there before she marries Sleeping Beauty, there's a can of special fuel in your glove compartment. With another shimmer of light and harp glissando, Yogurt disappears.
Barf! Quick! Open that glove compartment.
Barf rushes to it.
You got it, Your Highness.
Barf pulls out a little can out of the glove compartment. It is labeled Liquid Schwartz.
Wow. Liquid Schwartz.
Pour it into the gas tank.
As Lone Star buckles himself into his seat, Barf rushes out of frame, rushes back.
Done.
Barf buckles up as Lone Star grabs the throttles and shoves them forward.
Hang on, Furball. We're going to make space tracks.
Exterior Starfield. Eagle 5 makes a sharp U-turn. We hear the screeching sound of burning rubber as Eagle 5 swerves around. We see stardust skid marks in the sky. Music speeding down the Milky Way, and Eagle 5 heads back toward Deridia. Cut to Lone Star and Barf's POV through the windscreen. As Eagle 5 accelerates, once again the stars turn into stripes of white light.
Passing the speed of sound.
Cut to the stripes of white light becoming bright stripes in all the colors of the rainbow.
Passing the speed of light.
Right before their eyes, the colored stripes weave themselves together in crisscross fashion. The sky is turned into a Burlington Mills commercial, replete with the super rapid Burlington Mills loom weaving sound.
Holy moly, we've got plaid.
And Tori, do you want to take the rest of these actions and descriptions?
Yep, I got you. Cut to the interior Crystal Cathedral, close-up of the minister's day.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here together again to join.
Camera pulls back to reveal Princess Vespa and Prince Valium standing in front of the minister. King Roland is just behind them.
Why didn't you tell me he didn't take the money? I didn't think it was important. Besides, he asked me not to tell you.
May we continue, please?
Everyone is quiet.
To join Princess Vespa and Prince.
I see it all now. He said all those terrible things so I'd hate him. He was sacrificing himself so I wouldn't give up the throne. Don't you see? He loves me.
Would you mind having this conversation later? I happen to be conducting a wedding ceremony.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
To join Princess Vespa and Prince Valium in holy...
We hear the cathedral shaking sound of Eagle 5's jets zooming in.
Shit!
Everyone in the cathedral reacts to the noise. King Roland and Princess Vespa look at each other. Could it be?
Matrimony.
That's him. Oh, I know it's him. Oh, he's come back.
That's it. I'm not taking any more chances. We're doing the short version. Prince Valium, do you take Princess Vespa to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Princess Vespa, do you take Prince Valium to be your lawfully wedded husband?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I suppose. I mean, I.
She doesn't.
All eyes turn toward the rear of the church. There stands Lone Star, resplendent in princely raiment. He is clean-shaven, vision in white and gold. Behind him stands Barf, looking like he was just groomed by a Beverly Hills poodle parlor.
Who are you?
Prince Lone Star.
Prince?
I just found out. That's what this says. Will you marry me?
Wait. Oh, let me think it over. Yes.
I'm sick of this. I don't give a damn who it is, but I'm going to marry somebody today. You, get down here.
Lone Star heads towards the altar. Barf rushes ahead and picks up Prince Valium like he's a piece of furniture and puts him back in a pew.
Excuse me. We won't be needing you anymore.
Oh, all right.
Okay, here we go. The short version. Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
You're married. Kiss the bride.
They look deeply into each other's eyes. Music happily ever after.
I love you.
I love you.
They kiss. Church bells play. Mendelssohn's Wedding March. Music segues to 100 lush violins telling us our newlyweds are going to live happily ever after. Or until Spaceballs 2, whichever comes first. Camera pulls back and up. We go through the top of the cathedral, into the sky, and then into the star field. Cut to the exterior star field. A legend appears in the star field. May the Schwartz be with you. Music, the good guys theme triumphant. For all intents and purposes, the movie appears to be over, but not yet. Dissolve through to the exterior of another planet, a beautiful blue marble of a planet that is surrounded by fluffy white clouds. We dissolve through to an exterior deserted beach day. Waves gently lap at the shore. Suddenly, the air is rent by the rushing sound of what could be a falling meteor. Whoosh! It lands off stage. Whoosh! The earth shakes. A moment later, we hear a second, smaller object. Whoosh and poosh. Camera pans to reveal the source of the plooshes. Mega Maid's huge head has landed upright in the sand. Right beside it is her arm, still holding the vacuum handle, which is pointed skyward. She looks suspiciously like the top of the Statue of Liberty. After a moment, from inside her left nostril, slowly but surely, one by one, 3 strange objects make their way out of her nose. Camera moves in, and we see that it is Scroob, Dark Helmet, and Sanders, clinging for dear life to a makeshift rope of knotted spaceball bedsheets. We hear strange sounds from offstage. It seems to be the whinnying of horses approaching at a gallop. Scroob, Dark Helmet, and Sanders whip their head around and look, their eyes wide in amazement. Cut to Scroob, Dark Helmet's, and Sanders' point of view. 2 berobed apes on horseback in the distance. Cut to closer shots of the apes.
What are those things coming out of her nose? Spaceballs. Uh-oh, there goes the planet.
Fade out. The end.
Yay!
That was lovely, you all.
That was so much fun.
That was a fun one.
Little different though, huh? Than
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
in the actual movie.
A lot of differences in this one.
It's
Mhm.
almost like it really was like reading a different movie at some point. So then it starts to get to the familiar stuff, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is still Spaceballs that we're that we're reading."
Yep. If you can stay for the discussion, that'd be lovely. We can take a 5-minute break. I know for folks, because we've been all reading for a really long time, and then we can come back and talk a little bit about it if you're able to do so. So I have 2 after the hour, whatever hour it is in your particular location. So maybe back at 7 after the hour and have a nice little talk.
I won't be able to stay as long as last time, but I can stay for a little bit.
That's fine. That's fine. And get me a drink of water. Be back in a bit. All right, bribe my cats with some cat food so maybe they won't be yowling throughout the discussion. At least I bribe the noisy ones. The quiet ones will have to wait for dinner.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, the two 17-year-old cats are really, really, really hungry all the time. So
It's funny.
all right. So what do you guys think?
As it was good. There were some parts where you could definitely tell, like, I mean, as Tori was saying, it almost seems like a completely different movie, and some you're like, oh yeah, that's that one scene.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's kind of the same things we talked about the first half. It's like I know a lot of it's because we're familiar with the jokes that we know from the film, but sometimes it feels like those jokes don't quite hit as much. So it makes sense why a bunch of them maybe didn't make the final cut, because you can kind of feel how they don't quite land, but some of them really, really, like, I wish they were still in it because
Some of them are really funny, and some of them, I think, like, I did miss the we'll give the princess her old nose.
yeah, the whole nose job
I missed
section.
that part. That part was really funny, and
He
the whole
shot
thing with
my
Scroob with
hair.
the
I
"You
can't believe
shot
they shot my hair.
you assholes," or whatever. It was like, "You sons of bitches." I don't remember what she says, but it's really funny.
Well, and I thought I was kind of looking forward to. I thought it was interesting. That Scroob, in the movie that we all know is, they're like oh, that's the combination some idiot would have on his
Right,
luggage. Scroob is like, change the combination on my luggage, but in this version, he's like, he thinks it's stupid as well that's the
right.
combination.
Yeah,
So it's
they
more
really
that
added a
change.
lot to the movie to make Scroob the best character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it adds to the whole level of like, the satire of mirroring like an
Yeah,
incompetent politician. So it's like,
yeah.
of course, his combination on his luggage would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Lone
missed
Star's
the
a lot more
part.
serious too. Sorry, go ahead. What were you
Yeah,
saying?
I really missed the part where Mega Maid's about to blow up, and it says you can now cancel self-destruct, and they all go down to cancel it, and it's out of order.
Oh, I'd forgotten
And Dark
that
Helmet
one.
goes, "Fuck! Even in the future, nothing works."
Yeah, I remember that. And then the whole "Have a nice day,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you."
you.
Missed that part. That's actually why I was having a hard time reading because I was like typing it in. I'm like, "Thank you," because I missed that part. I was like, "Oh, they don't have thank you there."
I really, because we mentioned it last time and we were seeing where it came in either the first half or the second half. I'm really mad that in this version, the entire "keep firing assholes" section is not
Yeah,
in.
it's not
It's not in
there.
the script at all. It's like
So
he's an
that was
asshole.
completely ad-libbed. It's insane.
It's also funny, and I mean, it's fun to see like when you bring such big name actors into the room with a script like this, how they hear the jokes and they, kind of revamp it and be like, well, I don't know if that really hits. Maybe we can kind of ad lib here and there. Also, just really, really committing to the Colonel Sanders joke. It just
I had that
gonna
same
commit.
thought. I'm like, wow, that's committing to that Colonel Sanders joke, man. Also, all those strawberries. I was like, yogurt. I can't stand yogurt. All
Even
those
with
strawberries. I
Even
missed
with
that line.
strawberry.
it's also just an interesting change. I wonder where the decision came. It's such a small thing, but the change for Barf's foot to get squished by the statue instead of
Yes.
Yogurt's foot. It's like, because in the movie you
Yeah.
get like the flat pancake foot coming out from underneath it.
I
Well,
think it probably had to mix. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Kyle.
I think it's probably because in the movie Yogurt never stands up.
That's true.
He's always on his knees.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was interesting. They add that in. It's like a little Lord Farquaad movie moment. Also, I like that he ties his shoes to his knees with rubber bands. Like that's
That's so funny.
whatever works. No, I think it's definitely. I don't know. It's just so different, and I think it's so hard to really differentiate yourself from the version that you know, and
Yeah.
reading this version.
Yeah,
Because you just
Lone
want to
Star's
add
so
in.
much more serious than this, and I think it just is. It's Bill Pullman's like comedic timing and comedic physical acting. I think that helps a lot. But it's so funny how much more serious he reads, and I think that was supposed to be on purpose. He's supposed to be kind of like a mix between Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, so it kind of makes sense.
So we think
I love
maybe the
that.
giant pizza was cut for budget. The giant
Yeah, I think it
people-sized
was.
pizza.
There's a lot, and also it just didn't make any sense. But they didn't have the "Hello, my honey," "Hello,
Oh
my
my
dog."
gosh, yes.
That
Instead,
was,
we get Rodney Strangerfield.
I think they probably couldn't hire Rodney Strangerfield. It was so funny.
Which was
No,
great.
I think
Yeah.
they probably
Those
cut
are some
out the
funny
whole
lines.
Pizza the Hut scene because it was kind of lame. I can't even lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
it's
and
pretty
it wouldn't
lame.
have worked in the flow of the movie, truly.
I think
because
so.
it
They
takes
cut
away
everything.
from it takes
And
away
that
from
way
the
you
main
can't
plot
get the
line.
hilarious Pizza the Hut ate himself to
Got locked in his car and ate
I
himself to
I
death.
hate to say this,
death.
but it's weird because it's straight. There's a couple things where I'm like, oh, this is stranger than fiction moments. That whole Vegas scene just reminded me of Star Wars 8, where they go to
Yeah,
that whole scene and it like goes nowhere, and you're like, wait, why did we have this whole
yeah.
thing here?
Yeah.
What an awful movie.
I mean, it has some really interesting, good moments, but yeah, it's not a great movie. But it's just that it totally cuts that whole flow. You do not need that section in there, and that's what it's like. That's what
Yeah.
happens when you have good film. You get in there and you're like, oh, this does not work. It just gets on the cutting room floor because
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Otherwise, it destroys the flow.
Right. And that would have definitely destroyed the flow. That would have been like, well, this is a nowhere burger for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I think that the way they went with that at the end was so much better. Though, and the other thing is with the whole "You're welcome" with the dinks, all I can hear in my head when that was happening was like ding, 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 ding. That's all I could think of was, what can I say? You're welcome. I don't know. It was
Well,
really
and
funny.
it's like the fun part in the movie when they're coming down the hill and they're like ding 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 ding
Ding, ding,
ding
ding,
ding ding ding
ding,
ding
ding,
ding.
ding, ding, ding,
Oh,
ding, ding.
I
Yeah,
Yeah,
will
they're
that was
doing
say
the
funny.
that,
whole bridge
yeah,
on the River Kwai thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole the ad of what Spaceballs the song is going to be, it's like it's a rocket beat. Da, da. I'm like, all right, they understood the assignment when I got to the movie because all I could hear in my head is just that absolutely amazing song with very very minimal lyrics.
Yes.
They even like added in a verse. Like it was great.
Oh, also, it was when he also knocks out the guards.
Yeah.
There's like a lot more serious, and they don't have the pinch. No, that's not how
Oh
you
yeah,
do
not
it.
here. You gotta move it over here.
Got
Yeah,
it
you
there. Oh
gotta.
yeah, that's it. That's the spot. And then passes out. Like,
Oh, you want to know a fun little tidbit about that in the movie?
yeah.
That guard is played by an actor named Dick Warlock, and
That's funny.
he was actually Michael Myers in the first Halloween 2 movie.
That's so funny.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
another thing, speaking of Star Trek references, so this is one of Tim Russ's first movies.
What character did he play?
He plays Tuvok in Star
Yeah,
Trek.
I know that part, but I mean in this one.
Tupac?
Oh, now there's a line, it's when they're combing the sand,
Oh,
and
that's
it's the
right.
ad-libbed ones like, have you found anything? They're like, no. You found anything? No. You found anything? We ain't found shit. That's him.
Yeah.
That's Tim Russ.
Yeah, that whole scene wasn't in there. It was so sad.
God,
It
I'm
was like-
That was
I'm so
sad.
sad that part wasn't in there.
Yeah.
That's one of the best jokes.
It's one of the best jokes. It's so funny. Do you think we just took this way too literally? No, just keep going.
And they give the black guys the pick instead of the cow. So-
That visual joke is
That's
so
so
funny
mean.
and terrible.
Gosh. Mel Brooks.
We ain't found shit.
Yeah.
I love that line so much. I was sad it wasn't in there. It was one of my favorite lines.
It just goes to
Oh.
show though, like the collaboration of artists, like how many of the lines we actually recognize and remember, so many of them are not in the script. And that's so
Yeah.
crazy to think that because Kyle, you weren't there for the first read, but we talked about this with the Virgin Alarm one. It's like it's set to go off before you do. That line's not in
Yeah.
the script. You're like, that's perfect.
But it's the
Oh,
perfect line. Yeah, it's
That's unfortunate.
really funny. And also the other one I was missing was like the whole playing with the dolls. We were talking about the house. We were looking forward to
So
that scene. It
excited for that
wasn't
scene,
in
and then all of a
there.
sudden we get there and it's like, no, I didn't see you playing with your dolls against Sarah. I was like, no. I love that scene. I like that the minister stayed the same though. Like most of the minister's lines, like the short version. Do you? Do you?
Yeah, he pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just some of those lines, some of the stuff is great. I mean, there's some pretty funny stuff that's in the script too that you're like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't make it in there.
I wasn't here for the first part. Did King Roland, that one part where he still cares about the Mercedes more than his daughter, getting
No.
back the Mercedes?
Oh,
No,
Oh, that wasn't in there? Oh, that's
that
so
was not in there.
funny.
Yeah.
No, King Roland is actually much more caring. Also, the hot coals thing, like it's pretty funny because like King Roland cares a lot more about his daughter in the script than he does in the
Okay.
movie.
Yeah, he's a lot less like, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, if you can bring my daughter back, but please, the Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I liked how the actions and descriptions still have jokes in them too, though.
yes.
Mhm, I love all the visual jokes and the action jokes. Yeah, it
I
really
knew the
helps.
stunt double joke had to be in the script. Because
Oh,
that's
that
like,
stunt double joke's
yeah.
hilarious.
yeah.
Well, I think we need to make a point of doing a Mel Brooks movie next season and then the following season. I think it's really good to have it. Like we've got
Yeah,
Blazing Saddles, we've got High Anxiety.
Young
Yeah.
Frankenstein,
Yeah,
Frankenstein. I was gonna say
Frankenstein.
history of the world. Like
I
I'm
love
Part
History of the
one.
World so
Let's
much.
go history of the
Yeah.
world. Yeah, some of them, hold up better than others. Depending.
Yeah, some of them are not. They don't hold up super well, but they're still
It's
really
cool.
funny.
12 Chairs kind of sucks, but
I haven't seen 12 Chairs.
you're
But
not
Blazing
missing
Saddles,
anything.
that ending hits you in the face so hard. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's watching, but it comes out of nowhere and you feel like you just get punched in the jaw. It's really funny.
We talked about this last time for the first half of this movie, but now that we finished it, it still hits. Like we say, some of his other movies maybe don't hold up as much nowadays, but this one is one of those that still really, like, even the jokes that take digs aren't super,
Mm-mm.
like low ball taking super big cuts at people. Like it's a very well comedic piece in terms of like low ball humor. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
where some other
those
stuff, maybe
those
gets
Rodney Strangerfields, those were making me laugh so hard though. I was like, "Oh, this would have been
Kyle,
nice
that
if
was
he was
great.
in
I'm
there."
so glad you took that because you did that more justice than I would.
You did Rodney Dangerfield. Mwah, so good.
Yeah.
So good. I was like, "Oh, Rodney." Just get no
poor guy,
respect.
boy.
Just love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was fun.
It was fun. That's good. Hats off for picking it. So,
Oh yeah.
I like-
Has anyone
huh? Go ahead. Sit.
has anyone seen the Star Wars movie Rogue One?
Yes.
Did
Mhm.
anyone else notice they just took the final act for that movie from Spaceballs? Like basically everything, the whole place blowing up, the you need the handprint of one of the guards
I
coming
missed
in through a
that bit
secret
when I watched
entrance.
it.
Yeah, it's basically
Well-
just the ending of Spaceballs.
I mean, it's like it's a mix almost between like the original and it seems like it's almost a conglomeration of a couple of different movies. But yeah, I did notice it. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Reduce, reuse, recycle in the in the art world.
That's how you do it. So you get the best ones. Except I think there was a tiny bit. Well, I like Rogue One because there was like a bit of humor, a bit of like a lot of seriousness, but there was that situational kind of funny humor still that was in there as well.
I just really like
About
Amelia
Rogue One.
Clark, so that's my only loyalty to it.
I don't think she was in Rogue One. She was in Han Solo. You're thinking Han Solo.
Oh, I thought.
No,
She's in-
that's Felicity in
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have my movies mixed up.
Sorry.
Oh,
Damn
I
it,
do
Tori.
like the fact that
I
Rogue
know.
One does have a huge mix of racial backgrounds for
Mhm.
the characters,
Mm.
much unlike classic sci-fi, which tends to be very much traditionally white, with a few exceptions here and there.
Eurocentric,
Cultural
yeah.
exceptions, but they completely redid that, and not just Rogue One, but quite a lot of
Mhm.
Hollywood has been
A lot of science fiction does that.
Yeah.
Even though you have them written for that, like Star Trek. That's why Star Trek's one of my favorite science fiction series because most of it is very forward thinking.
It's like
So,
it's sci-fi. I mean, anything goes for a lot of sci-fi universes, you know? It's like
oh,
you make your
I
own
love
worlds.
I love the Planet of the Apes reference. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Well, shit.
Uh,
There goes the
there goes
planet.
the
Big
planet.
is the planet.
Oh, that's right. I should have done it in that voice. I couldn't remember what they sounded like. So,
What are those coming out of her nose?
even knows. Oh well, shit. There goes the planet. I could have done
Yeah.
it much better. Okay, well, next time.
Yeah. Next time Spaceballs comes around, we'll we'll
Make
read
sure to
it.
do it those faux English voices and those
Yeah.
hoity-toity English accents. Oh, I never.
It's fun to play too.
Tuesday in it.
Tuesday.
Oh, don't do the Cockney. Come on. What are you trying here, mate? Just stop.
That's what I like about these, though, is you get the chance to, practice your accents, and you might be all over the continent, or the globe as it is, with various accents, but it's fun and it's safe and it's good practice. And
Also good, yeah, it's also good practice to act and play the character differently,
Yeah.
and like not play the character that you've that you've seen. Like I love that Vicky chose Barth's voice to be like really gruff. Like I like that you did that. It was a completely different take on the character, and I liked that rather than just seeing John Candy's voice or
Yeah.
John Candy's take. So I really liked that from what I saw. Someone's okay. I have to call my mom back. But yeah, other than that, I thought that was Or not other than that. I mean, totally. I thought all of it was great. But Tori, I loved your Pizza the Hut though. I thought you
Thanks.
wearing the outfit was really funny.
Thank you. That was a very
That's
last
hilarious.
minute thing. I was like, Pizza the Hut, hang on. I looked over and I was like, I have a brown cover. We can do this.
You commit to the bit though. I love that.
Hey, you can ask Kat in the Shakespeare group as well. If there's anything I do when it comes to readings, I'll commit to the bit. I will.
I love it. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, it was great hearing you do your voices too. They were really funny. Like your
Oh, thank
different
you.
takes on each of the characters.
Yeah, I'm really glad you had a chance to join us today. So it's always nice to
Yeah.
have new voices in here.
Mhm.
And especially when obviously we had 3 not show up today. So it's nice having to have talent to be able to spread out our parties
Yes.
out too. So
Do we know what next week is?
never ending story.
Oh, yay.
I'm definitely gonna have to be a part of that one because that's one of my favorite movies ever. I judge everybody. I always say this too. I'm like, I'm gonna judge you on your reaction for that movie.
And I could only find one script for it, and it's there's very few actions in the description, so I don't think it's exactly a transcription of the movie. But there's because it's not written like one, but it's definitely there's no shot numbers, and it's a very different style of script, and so few action descriptions we can probably get to the whole thing in one reading, even though it is a film. So I'll post the script link up on the Facebook page
Okay.
today or tomorrow, so you can take a look at it ahead of time. But and again, if you have any characters you want to play, let me know, and we'll see if we can work that out. Because I'm always happy to give people a chance to play ones that they like, or play ones that might be a bit of a challenge. That's something different than what you usually play. Is also a good reason to read out loud. And
There's not a lot of characters in it, actually. Funny enough. I mean, it seems like there is, but there's
a lot of
not.
small ones.
A lot of small ones.
A lot of because we have there's a few main characters, but they run into a lot of small ones.
That's true.
Of course.
Like Moira and the Nightcatcher and and Rockbiter. Yeah, it's true. They do run into a lot, but I mean, there's some really poignant parts in there too. But the main characters are mostly just Atreyu and Bastion. And you've got Mr. Coriander. See, you could tell I really love this movie.
The horsey scene though makes me cry every
Oh, our text make that one. Oh gosh. Oh, so sad. musically, that movie does not have a lot of music, but the music pieces hit so hard. You feel like there's many more themes in there than there actually is. There's only like
I'll have
6
to watch it
or
again and
7.
see.
Just watched it recently, and it still hits just as hard. It's every time it hits so hard.
The very first musical I auditioned for, I actually chose the theme song from the Never Ending Story, and I
sing
got
all
the part.
time.
So
I love it. Yeah, I sing that song all the time. Lamal, if you guys have not seen Lamal's music video for it, watch it. It's beautiful, but it's also freaking hilarious. He takes it so seriously. It's great. It's like, it's just, I can't. It's so good. Nostalgia.
Cool.
Anyway,
Well, the events for it is already posted, so you can go ahead and
Yes.
sign up if you want to join us next week for that. And then we
All right.
should have a break. I know because I'm not around to host one. So, and then we have a 4th Tuesday coming up at some point, maybe in August, because I'm not in town on the 1st or the 2nd or 3rd Tuesday, whatever. But we'll take a look and see what those are. So.
all right. Sounds good. Anyways, I should probably get going.
Yep, me too.
So
Thanks,
much fun
everyone.
with.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank
for all the
you.
hard work and stuff and everything.
Bye, everyone.
All right.
it
good
was a
night.
pleasure.
Was a
A
pleasure.
pleasure indeed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Our
night,
Zoom
Thank
meeting
you.
will
Bye.
self-destruct in a few moments.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, y'all.